Who would have thought that one day the adult stack would be bigger than the middle grade stack? And all of this here is adult as well. Hi everyone, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I have been doing little book haul challenges the past few times, such as taking a shot for every book hold, doing 5 push-ups or sit-ups or bicycles for every book I hold, and I'm still in pain from doing all that exercise last month, so I'm just going to skip doing a book haul challenge this time round, and I'm going to see if you guys have any suggestions for book haul challenges for the next video. Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. But while you're down there, also don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoy and subscribe if you haven't already. So yes, this is going to be my book haul for, well, since the last one, which I did at the very start of January. So this is all of the books that I've hauled in January and the first week of February, which is honestly disgusting. I'm about to put that away. Quite a few of these books were sent to me from publishers, so I do have quite a few exciting upcoming books to show you as well today. So I do have middle grade, young adult, adult and classics. Let's get to the book hauling. So we'll start with the middle grades. The first book that I haul, well actually this is in no order really. The first book I've got here is Like a Charm by Elle McNichol. I'm gonna have to try and get a little bit closer in so we can actually see what these books are. Like a Charm, Elle McNichol. So excited. I went to the book launch event for this book last week in Kensington. It was actually this time last week. It was last Thursday. Oh, God, I miss it so much. So I did get my book signed from Elle. So this book follows Ramya, and she can see all of the mythical, magical creatures that inhabit Edinburgh, whereas nobody else can. Ramya ends up going on an adventure in Edinburgh to uncover some family secrets, and she has 3 words of warning from her grandfather: beware the sirens. Did you just hear that? The wind is ridiculous. Was that a siren? Elle McNichol is the author of A Kind of Spark and Show Us Who You Are. Both I absolutely adore. So this is Elle's foray into fantasy. So I am genuinely so excited. This is also going to be the first book in a duology too. And the main character, Ramya, has dyspraxia. So if you're looking for a fantastic book with incredible disability representation, Elle McNichol always delivers. So I'm going to have to just make a pile of books on the floor. Next, I have A Storm of Sisters by Michelle Harrison, the 4th book in the Widdershins Adventures Pinch of Magic series. And this series is near and dear to my heart, one of the first middle grade series I really fell in love with. And we do follow the Widdershins sisters yet again. However, this time there is a ghostly legend of a fortune teller, a highwayman, and a stolen crystal ball. So each Widdershins adventure has kind of followed a different storyline. So technically you could read them out of order. So this is the 4th book if you do fancy picking it up. I don't think you should have a problem getting into the story. However, character-wise, it's always brilliant to start from the beginning because the Widdershins sisters are fantastic to follow. I absolutely love them. I have missed them so much. It's been a while since I read A Tangle of Spells, which was the 3rd book. So A Storm of Sisters is the brand new 4th book and has the blue sprayed edges like the first 3 books have sprayed edges too. I'm just so excited. I love Michelle Harrison so much. Oh, and then this doesn't come out until the middle of the month, but I have Sabotage on the Solar Express by MG Leonard and Sam Sedgman. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending me this. I also want to say as well, thank you so much to Knights of for sending me a copy of Like a Charm 2. But anyway, Sabotage on the Solar Express. This is the 5th book in the Adventures on Trains series by MG Leonard and Sam Sedgman. Again, we follow Hal, who goes on trains with his uncle, and they solve mysteries. In this one, it looks like there is sabotage on the Solar Express. But every time I hear this title, I think, on the Polar Express. But in this one, a billionaire invites Hal and his uncle to the maiden voyage of the Solar Express. There is sabotage. Somebody sabotages it and it's up to Hal and Uncle Nat to figure out what happened. So I'm very excited to give this one a try. This one is set in the Australian outback. Yes, amazing. So excited to read it. Oh, the next one as well. Honestly, all of the exciting books come out at the start of February, middle of February. I've got so many I'm excited about. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending me The Secret Sunshine Project by Benjamin Dean. This one is a standalone book, but it's from the same author as Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, which I loved. And this one has a rainbow sprayed edge. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I just flicked through and I saw chapter 13 is called Be Gay, Do Crime. I love this book already, it's a 5 stars. But in this one, there is some kind of event that happens in this family that brings a sort of grey cloud over them. And Bea is our main character and she is trying to bring life and colour back into her family's lives. I feel like I might know what the grey cloud is, but I don't want to say it just in case of spoilers. So I'm just going to leave it there. Just going to say that, again, this is from an author who has done incredible work with Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow. So excited for their follow-up and for that sprayed edge too. It's just absolutely gorgeous. As soon as this one came out, I had to get it, but this was Room to Dream by Kelly Yang. I absolutely adore the Front Desk series. The first 2 books were both 5 stars for me, so I'm very excited to read Room to Dream. This one follows Mia and her family. They've moved from China to America, where they start their motel. In this one, I think they go on holiday to China to see their family, and I guess it's going to be interesting to see how different Mia's family is from when they first moved over to America, and to see how they interact with their family back in China. And also, I love the fact that on the back cover there is snow, and it looks very snowy. I love this vibe right now. This could have also been amazing for Polathon, I think. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to read it, honestly. This is one of my favourite contemporaries ever, like this series. And I just know that this one is not going to disappoint. It's brand new. Although I think it came out in America late last year. But it's brand new in the UK, published by Knights of. Freaking love it. Another one I'm excited about, and thank you so much to the publisher for sending me it, is Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdoms by Jamar J. Perry. This one honestly looks incredible too. Comes out in March. This one is inspired by West African and Igbo mythology, and Cameron and his best friends open a book that transports them to another world where there is, I think, a war between an evil queen and her sister in this kingdom. I have also heard that this is LGBTQ+, so I'm always excited about that kind of representation in middle grade, and I can't wait to read it. I know Joel from Fictional Fates read this one recently and gave it 5 stars. So excited. Thank you to Puffin for sending me The Secret of Haven Point by Lisette Orton. This was in my upcoming middle grade books that I was excited for video that I will link down below if you want to check that out. But this is a middle grade I spotted online, and it was blurbed by Elle McNichol. Yeah, Elle McNichol on the back there. So in here we have Haven Point, which is a ramshackle home for anybody with disabilities. It says here that they're called the Recklings, and they spend their days looting from passing ships with a little magical help from a mermaid clan and a lighthouse keeper with a kitten in his beard. That is so adorable. But beyond the boundaries of Haven Point, danger lurks. It honestly does sound fantastic. I'm always open for more middle grade books with disability representation. So this sounds like it's going to be a fantastic fantasy one too, like a Charm. And oh my god, I'm just so excited. I was very recently sent Nura and the Immortal Palace by M.T. Khan. Very recently, in fact, it literally just came like yesterday. So thank you so much, Walker, for sending me this book. This is a middle grade adventure that is rooted in Muslim tradition. So this one follows Nura, and she's been working in the mines to try and find the Demon's Tongue, which is this long forgotten piece of treasure. But then her and her friends become trapped in the mines, and they end up having to cross into, is it the realm of the Jinn, in order to, well, save themselves, which sounds, well, 1, terrifying, but 2, absolutely incredible. I cannot wait. I believe MT Khan, this is their debut, I think. Can you hear that wind? It wasn't like that before I clicked record. Yeah, I think this is MT Khan's debut. So, yes, I'm excited. Then I picked up the current Waterstones Children's Book of the Month, Loki, A Bad God's Guide to Being Good by Louis Stowell. And this has a sprayed edge that is to die for. I absolutely love it. Well, it's been described as a little bit like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This one follows Loki, and he has been banished to Earth by Odin to live as an 11-year-old boy, and he has to prove himself to be good before he is allowed to go back to the way he was. Filled with illustrations, it does look a little bit Diary of a Wimpy Kid-esque. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, this might be for you. But I'm looking forward to reading it. I think it'll be a really fun, adventurous time, and hopefully it will make me laugh. And another one I recently just got was The Lost Whale by Hannah Gold. I didn't want to take the ribbon off just yet because I absolutely love the ribbon. It says Save Our Oceans. Because honestly, what I love about Hannah Gold's books, one of them was like The Last Bear, which was really, really good. The Lost Whale will, I think, deal with like the environment as well and what we're doing to the oceans. So I'm gonna have to take this off so I can find out what this is actually about, but really nice ribbon there. And also just an absolutely stunning proof too. Okay, so this follows Rio, who goes to California to live with a grandmother he's never met before, and while there he meets a whale that goes missing, and he needs to find this whale. And yeah, that's all I pretty much know about it, but it does sound really nice, and I cannot wait to dive into it. A huge thank you to Egyptian Spirit for sending me The Ship We Built by Lexi Bean. I believe this one is LGBTQ plus middle grade. This one sounds very intense. It does sound like there are trigger warnings for abuse and bullying. And this one follows Rowan, and he ends up writing little messages on balloons and releases them to the sky in the hopes that one day somebody will read them and understand him. It's going to be very emotional, I believe. It's probably going to make me cry. But yeah, thank you so much, Egyptian Spirit, for sending me this. I have had my eye on it for quite some time, and I think I'm going to see if I can read it for Pride, maybe, this year. Again, can't wait to read it. I'm saying that about everything, I apologise. A huge thank you to Puffin for sending me The Map Makers, which is out in a couple of weeks' time. Honestly freaked out when I saw this come through the door. It came in a big hat box. And I mean, I've got it over there. If I could be bothered, I would get up and get it. But it came in a big hat box with like some feathers and all of that, and it was so cool. But yeah, this is the sequel to The Hat Makers by Tamsin Merchant, which follows Cordelia Hatmaker, who is part of the Hatmaker family, and they can use these special ingredients that have enchantments to weave into hats and things. And there are other makers in this Georgian-esque London, but in this one I think Cordelia is trying deeply to find her missing father, who goes missing at the very start of the Hatmakers. And I absolutely adore Tamsin Merchant's writing, and I adored the first Hatmakers, so I am so excited to read this one, and I absolutely adore the cover too. It's fantastic, it's beautiful, amazing. And again, thank you so much, Puffin, for sending me it. Thank you to Faber for sending me Carnival of the Lost by Kieran Larwood. Now, I had not heard of this one before it came, but I have heard of Kieran Larwood. They did write the 5 Realms series, I believe it is, Legend of Podkin One Year. Well, one, I love the way it looks, because every single page has like that kind of design on it. I had no idea this was coming out either, but I think it's out now. And this one follows, I believe, a circus, and we have Sheba, the wolf girl, who finds out that the Thames River is sucking children in, and there have been random sights of a mechanical monster. So this circus, this carnival, I think, joined forces in order to find out what's going on. And Book Trust said it's set in a grimy Gothic Victorian London of grave robbers and child snatchers with a hint of steampunk. That's just bumped right up my list. Thank you so much to Farshaw for sending me Dreadwood by Jennifer Killick, the author of Crater Lake. Yeah, I think this is a brand new one. I don't think it's part of the Crater Lake series, but it comes out in March. I do love proof copies, but they never tell you what they're actually about, so I'm gonna have to research this. I'll be right back. Okay, so apparently this one follows the 3 main characters. They get pulled into school on a Saturday for some strange reason. They witness their teacher getting dragged underground, and really creepy things start to happen in the school. The caretakers start acting creepy. Someone has been watching and plotting and is out for revenge. That sounds pretty awesome, very scary. It'll be perfect to read, potentially for Halloween, or, you know, just whenever, because, you know, spooky season is already around, really. But yeah, thank you so much, Farshaw, for sending me it. I've talked about this book a few times now on my channel, but I did get sent a final copy of The Last Firefox by Leigh Newberry, and this one follows a young boy who discovers a firefox, which is the last of its kind, and there is a hunter that is out to catch this firefox, and the main character, Charlie, has to protect this firefox. I also know that Charlie has same-sex parents in this, so I absolutely love it already, and I cannot wait to read it. Now, a huge thank you to Kira for sending me Sunshine by Marion Dane Bauer. I'm so sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong. Newbery Honor Author, but also Kira's grandma, so thank you so much for getting her to sign this for me and sending me it. Honestly, I am so excited to read it. Thank you. It sounds incredible. But also, just to show you guys, now this one follows Ben, and he lives with his dad and dog Sunshine, and he doesn't really know his mum. His mum lives on a remote island in the Minnesota wilderness. So for 1 whole week, he ends up going to visit her and is going to be living with her for a week on this remote island. But then a fire threatens to destroy his mum's island, and I don't know what happens after that. I don't know where it goes from there, but it does sound like it's going to be such an incredible read. And honestly, thank you so much, Kira, for sending me this book. And not just this book, but the next book. But just to get your grandmother to sign this for me was just so incredible. So thank you so much. I think it's going to be incredible. But also thank you, Kira, for sending me Rise of the World Eater by Jamie Littler. This is the American edition, so it's in hardback. Oops, oh no, my card fell out. But yeah, I have the first 2 in American hardback as well for my Frostheart collection, which is just above me, just out of shot. The last book I needed for my collection. So yeah, thank you so much, Kira, for completing my collection for me. Last 2 middle grade books then, I have The Lonely Ones by Kelsey Sutton. Kelsey Sutton is the author of Fortuna Sworn, but she goes under KJ Sutton for her adult books. This is her middle grade book. I should have known that she'd have a middle grade book out, but this one is a little bit harder to get hold of, so I had to get it secondhand online. This one follows Fane, who doesn't really have the best home life, but she does escape into her imagination, and during the day she crafts stories using her imagination, and at night her stories come to life, and all these creatures that she's dreamt up and all of that make her the queen. This is told in lyrical free verse as well, and I do love me a verse novel. So that is really interesting. I cannot wait to give this one a read. And yeah, I love Kelsey, so I think this one is going to be incredible just like her. And finally for the middle grade, I have Escape Room by Christopher Edge. Christopher Edge wrote The Infinite Lives of Maisie Day, which I read a couple of years ago and really enjoyed. He does write some science fiction books. This one follows Amy and her friends who go to an escape room but realise it's not actually an escape room like any other. They get locked in and they need to actually try and find a way out. The stakes are real and high, so it's rather scary. It doesn't really sound sci-fi like his other books, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe it does have sci-fi elements, but it does look very Indiana Jones-esque, just judging from the cover, and that's why I picked it up. And I really did enjoy Christopher Edge's other books, so, but yeah, this is very short, and looks pretty good. Okay, so on to the young adult books now then. I don't have that many. Starting off with, I did get the first 5 Animorphs books on eBay. These were quite cheap, and I didn't realise that these were actually the original covers, the first ever released ones, which makes me a little bit sad because they did end up changing the design of this series from book 19 onwards, I believe. So I will never ever get book 19 onwards with these covers. And I told Emma from Roslanta, so thank you so much Emma for sending me the very first Animorphs book with the new covers, the new style. And yeah, this is going to really help with me trying to get my entire Animorphs collection, which I do really want to collect them all. I did really enjoy that series. I read them all in January, really enjoyed them, so I am now on the hunt for collecting the series, essentially. I only have, well, 3 in this edition now, and then 5 in these. Again, thank you so much, Emma, for sending me this book. You didn't have to, but yeah, that was awesome. Like, thank you. It's going to take me a while to collect them all because there's 54 books. When I was in Ipswich recently, I got The Summoner, the Novice by Tara Matharu. This one was recommended by a Waterstones bookseller there. They said that this was one of their favourite books. So I was like, you know what, I've seen this a lot. I have met this author before in the past, and they did used to write on Wattpad a lot, and I absolutely adore Wattpad so much. But this has been out for some time, and I've been meaning to pick it up, so if you think I should pick it up, let me know in the comments. But this one does follow Fletcher, who has the ability to summon demons. And Fletcher does end up going to an academy to learn the art of summoning. This is a full-on series, and Tara Matharu has written, I think it's called the Contender series as well, so it would be a really good series to get into. I do know there's a prequel as well. Do I need to read this first or the prequel? Let me know. So thank you to that Waterstones bookseller at Ipswich. Thank you so much. A huge thank you to Pushkin Press for sending me Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. This is an upcoming book that comes out in May. This one is set at a hotel that changes location every night, I believe. And our main character is trying to get a job there. She's trying to get a better life for her and her sister. So they hatch a plan to try and get to this hotel and stay there. However, is the hotel sinister? Is there more to it? Who knows? I didn't know it was coming, and it was such a nice surprise to open this and say, oh, this actually sounds really, really good. So yeah, thank you, Pushkin. And finally, thank you to Victoria for sending me The White Starlight by Nicole Lesperance. I hadn't heard of this one before, but it does look really good. Well, Victoria sent me a box of other incredible things as well. Thank you so much, Victoria. But this is the book that they sent me as well. But this one follows Eli, who witnessed her mother vanishing in a fjord in Norway. Now, her mother disappeared while she was whistling to the Northern Lights. Years and years later, she's been gone for years. The main character, Eli, she spots the Northern Lights over her town one night and tries to say if whistling will bring her mother back. And it works. Her mother appears before her. But her reappearance isn't the only thing that comes back when Eli whistles to the Northern Lights. So it sounds really good. I probably butchered that summary so much, I apologise. Fjords of Norway, oh god, like one of my dream places to visit. It just sounds like such a great adventure. Yeah, I haven't really heard very many people talk about it either. So yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, Victoria, you didn't have to. Should we do the adults next or the classics? I'll do the adult books next. Classics, older than adults, aren't they? Right? Okay, so adult next. And you will have seen the first 3 books because they are my February TBR. First 2 books, though, are manga. And they are Wild Wild Wildlife by Hyogo Kochiyama. And we also have Dick Fight Island by Reuben Ike. These are essentially gay porn. I think it's called hentai, and I'm so excited to read these. I had a flick through these as well. These are definitely not safe for work. I mean, pretty much sex on every page. So that's essentially why I got them. But this one, I think, is 5 different stories of, like, pretty much mating season in the woods. We have a goat man, a lynx man, a beast man, an android. And Dick Fight Island, I think, is a group of guys who go to an island where they have dick fights in order to find out who is king of the island. Something like that. And I also have We Are Not Broken by George M. Johnson, the author of All Boys on Blue, which I absolutely adored. It was a memoir. This is also a memoir, and this was recommended from Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. And they also have a audiobook as well, which I want to listen to because they narrated themselves. So this one is, well, essentially about the life of George and their brothers as well, and being raised by their nanny, is it? Yeah, raised by nanny, their fiercely devoted grandmother. Yeah, 4 black boys raised by their grandmother, and I think it's just like a love letter to their nanny. Sounds so beautiful, and if it's anything like All Boys on Blue, I just know it's going to make me feel all the things. So yeah, I am excited to read this one, so thank you again, Jessie, for recommending this one. This one I picked up recently. It's The Leviathan by Rosie Andrews, and I mean, it does have the sprayed edge, which was the main reason why I picked it up. So this is set in Norfolk in 1643, I believe, and Thomas ends up getting summoned home by his sister, who believes that their father got involved with a servant, and now their father is... what was the word? Their father is insensible, felled by a stroke, and their new servant is in prison facing charges of witchcraft. So Thomas is a rational man, but as he gets further and further into the mystery of what happened to his father, he realises that something dark and sinister might be going on. So it sounds great, and again, as I mentioned before on my channel, I'm getting really into historical fiction, and I do think I have another one coming up as well, which I'm really excited to read. So this one does seem like it adds in that fantasy element into its historicalness, so I don't know if that was the right way of saying it, but it does look like it will be very, very interesting. A huge thank you to Ravenous Reads for sending me Beach Read by Emily Henry. This one I read recently and I did like it. I gave it 3 stars. I read it for my Mamma Mia vlog, so if you haven't checked out that vlog yet, do check it out. I do talk spoiler free about this, but essentially it's about 2 writers. They have a little bit of history and they meet up again years and years later by accident, and they end up swapping genres, and they're going to see who gets published first. So there is a little bit of tension between them to begin with. It is a romance, and romance happens. I did want more from the plot, but other than that, it was a pretty good escapist read. So yeah, thank you so much, Ravenous Reads, for sending me this. I've read it. Is this like the only book I've read from this book haul so far? Then I got The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. This was the thriller book of the month at Waterstones last month, and I think this is set in a hotel that used to be a sanatorium. We follow Detective Ellen, who gets invited to this hotel slash sanitarium by her brother. Is it her brother? A strange brother who was invited her there for his engagement party. She arrives in the midst of a storm, and the next day her brother's fiance goes missing. So there's something strange afoot in this sanatorium. I believe it's set in the Swiss Alps as well, so the setting's going to be very isolating, very threatening, but also beautiful. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I have heard good things, so I had to pick it up because it was the thriller book of the month. Then I got myself The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. I mean, look at the Spirit Edge first though. Oh, beautiful. But this one is kind of about, you know, the real life story of Agatha Christie when she went missing for 11 days. And nobody really knows what happened to her during those 11 days. Well, this is a fictional account of what happened during that time. And I'm not going to lie, while that does sound really interesting, I did just pick it up for the Spirit Edge. Great reviews for it. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about it on BookTube yet, so I'm going to wait for some BookTube reviews as well. No, it looks pretty interesting and rather a stunning book. Then I got the 3rd and I think final book in the Greenbone Saga. There might be more, I don't know. But this is the most recent one anyway. And this one, I've read Jade City and it was really good. It's set in a world where Jade is something that gives people powers. People are either able to handle that or not. We follow the No Peak clan, and there are some, well, family politics going on. There is a sort of war with another clan called the Mountain Clan, and I'm explaining that terribly, but it was a really good book. I really, really enjoyed the first book. I'm excited to continue reading this series, and I love the way Fondley built that world up. It's something that was accessible to me, and I'm not somebody who reads a lot of, well, dense fantasies. The books are getting chunky, but I have heard this book has broken a lot of people. I mean, I've still got to read Jade War first. I'm sure by the time I get to this, I will be so invested in the characters that I will break too. I wanted to get this one because I knew I was going to read it. I've been trying so hard not to go too far ahead with buying series, but I just know I'm going to enjoy this series. So I love the first one. Second one, haven't read yet, but I will. This one, I'll be able to pick up right after finishing the second one, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I bought this one on a recommendation, well, one from Chandler Ainsley, but also my manager, and that is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This one follows a girl, I think she's spoiled, but she's cut off from her father and goes to live in a seaside town where she comes across a Is it a fisherman? Yeah, he's a fisherman. And I just absolutely love the way he's illustrated on the cover. Quite honestly, he is gorgeous. And I do think there is some steam in this too. But also I just love the fact that it's set in this really small seaside village as well. And, you know, we have this spoiled, almost like an heiress kind of person being forced to, you know, live without her riches, essentially, and in a totally new place. I think it's going to be really interesting. It might be, was it The Sweet Life with Paris and Nicole? Was it, or was it The Simple Life? I'm thinking The Sweet Life? The Sweet Life, is that in Cody? I think it was The Simple Life. Maybe. It sounds a little bit like that, but with romance. I'm here for it. I honestly am. I cannot wait to read it. Then I have Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman. Beautiful sprayed edge there as well. This one is set in London in 1799, and we follow Dora, who lives with her uncle, and I think they run an antique shop. A mysterious Greek vase ends up getting delivered to the shop, and it makes her uncle act strange, and Dora wants to find out what the fuck is going on, essentially. It's described as gorgeously atmospheric, and that is all I need to know. That and the sprayed edge, of course. This reminds me of the old gothic books I used to adore from like the 1700s, 1800s, with this kind of title page. It says it's a novel in 3 parts, and it has that whole thing on the bottom there with the publisher and stuff. Yeah, that reminds me of the gothic classics that I love and adore, so I think this might end up stealing my heart. A huge thank you to my wife Mel for sending me Finlay Donovan is Killing It by L. Cosimano. I can't tell with that font. So the font tripped me up there. I think it's El Cosimano. And I've heard rave reviews about this book recently, and I know Mel has been wanting me to read this for a while now too. So this one follows Finlay, who is a crime writer, and she goes on a dinner with her agent. Is it her agent or editor? Her literary agent. And she talks about this book that she's writing, but a woman nearby misinterprets that as her needing a hit woman. And, and honestly, that just sounds hilarious. So bumping this up my TBR. But yeah, this woman slips Finlay a name and a promise of a large sum of cash. Finlay finds herself plotting something bigger than her novel. It sounds so hilarious. So yeah, thank you so much, Mel, for sending me this. I love you so much. You are my wife for life. And I just love you. I love you. The next 2 books are KJ Sutton books. I have Beautiful Nightmares, and I also have Straight Until Morning. Beautiful Nightmares is the 4th book in the Fortuna Sworn series, which I read the first book and really enjoyed, so I do want to try and read all of the books together, because it has been a while since I read the first one. I do want to make a vlog of maybe reading all of them. So yeah, this is the 4th and most recent book. And then I have Straight Until Morning, which I believe is a Peter Pan retelling. So this follows Wendy, who is in trouble with the bank, but she has heard whispers of somebody called Peter, who is a sort of like a miracle worker, some kind of demon. And then we have Lady Julie, who gives Wendy this kind of out. She says if she kills Peter next time she sees him, she will give her a large sum of money. So Wendy ends up traveling to Neverland to kill Peter. Sounds pretty awesome, and it is separate to the Fortuna Sworn series, so I can read this whenever. I did get a non-fiction book, and it's called It All Began With a Scream by Patrick Maroney. This one is about Scream, and I love Scream. Scream is like my favourite horror film of all time. This one I think is essentially about the first 4. This one came out a few years ago, so it doesn't have the most recent one in, but it is essentially Patrick Maroney's research into the production of Scream and how the series has gone since then. It is essentially filled with interviews and behind the scenes stuff with like photos and things too. And as a Scream fan, I think this will be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, non-fiction, again, I don't read a whole lot of it, but I will for Scream. I will do anything for Scream, and I will do anything for Daddy Ghostface. But this is essentially an unauthorized look into the franchise, so this is not an official book released from the studio or anything. This was actually somebody's research into the franchise and what they found. Then I had to pick up a final copy of Daughter of the Moon Goddess by So Lin Tan. I have the proof copy of this, and it's recently just come out, and I'm reading it this month with my patrons. But this one follows Xingyin, who has been hidden from the Emperor, but then one day she unleashes her power and reveals herself to the Emperor, so she has to try and escape. But I believe her mother ends up getting taken, or at least she has to leave her mother behind, and then she ends up having to go on this adventure or this journey in order to, well, save herself and her family. That is, again, the bare bones version of this plot summary. I'll know more once I've read it, but I am reading it this month, so I'm so excited. It is a retelling inspired by the Mid-Autumn Legend, and I love retelling so much. Gorgeous cover, love the sprayed edges, and I believe So Lin Tan is going to blow me away. The last 2 adult books then before the classics, I have Barbarian Alien by Ruby Dixon, the sequel to Ice Planet Barbarians, and it's been re-released in this lovely new cover, which came out yeah, I think like last week maybe. But the Ice Planet Barbarian series, I did enjoy the first one. It was a guilty pleasure kind of book, but it's essentially set on a planet with blue aliens with big dicks, and yeah. I believe this one follows a different character to the first one. Yeah, we follow Liz, and she meets Rahosh, and in the first one we followed Georgie and Vectel, I believe. So looking forward to reading it though. I did enjoy the first one. I hope there's a lot of steam in this too. We'll see. And then finally for the adult books, I have A Fatal Crossing by Tom Hindle. This one is historical. It is a mystery as well, and that is essentially why I picked it up. It also looks like the Titanic on the cover there. It's not. This is not set on the Titanic, but as people know, I'm pretty obsessed with that. The Endeavour sets sail with 2,000 passengers and a killer on board. There is an elderly gentleman found dead at the bottom of the stairs, and one of the ship people thinks it's just an accident, but there is a detective from Scotland Yard on board, and he thinks there is something else afoot. There are just days remaining until this ship arrives at New York, so the clock is ticking on this mystery being solved. I just think it's going to be wonderful. Again, historical fiction, I'm really getting into it. And with it being mystery as well, I'm going to love it even more, and I love the cover as well. Right, so finally, on to the classics. We have The Beetle by Richard Marsh. I saw this one in Ipswich a couple of days ago, and I hadn't heard of it. This was in the horror section, and I was like, I haven't read very many horror classics, and this one sounds so good. It involves ancient Egypt. It says here that it's a thrilling horror novel of mesmerism, murder, and shape-shifting terror. The Beetle caused a sensation in late Victorian England, at one point even outselling Dracula. But we follow a politician called Paul, who I believe is visited by the Beetle, which is this shape-shifting evil from ancient Egypt, and it's bent on revenge for crimes committed against the disciples of a centuries-old cult and wholly without mercy. Oh, come on, it sounds so good. It's classic horror, and it even outsold Dracula at one point. I've not heard anyone talk about this one, and I don't even think I knew it existed until I saw it in Ipswich. I'm so excited to read this. I might do a classic horrors reading vlog maybe later this year, and this will definitely be at the top of this list. So yeah, this one sounds awesome. And Ancient Egypt too, oh, love. A huge thank you to Janelle for sending me H.G. Wells. Well, it's a collection of 6 novels. We have The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, The First Men in the Moon, and The Food of the Gods. It's Canterbury Classics. It has gilded pages, gold gilded pages, and H.G. Wells is classic sci-fi, so I'm interested to read some of these. I have read The Invisible Man, but I haven't read the rest of them. It's gonna be interesting. So again, thank you so much, Janelle, for sending me these. The 2 piles on the floor are too big, so I'm just gonna pop these here. And then I have 3 of my Seasons editions, which I do collect. I absolutely love my Seasons editions. I have maybe about 5 of them now. Well, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them now. Maybe less, actually. I can't say from here. And I went into Dial Lane Books in Ipswich for these, and they were a tenner each. £10. £10. So firstly, I have Shakespeare in Autumn. These are select plays and the complete sonnets, and these are Seasons editions, so the books are released kind of in a different season, or at least have the look of a different season. So again, this is autumn. I think this is either winter or spring. It might be winter, I don't know. No, I think winter was like plain white. This one I think might have been spring. And this one is fall/autumn as well. So we have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte too, which I have read before, but only once before, and that was for uni. And then I also have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I do love these editions a lot. They have like the window effect on the covers. There are only 10,000 of each as well, so they're very limited. But I also love the spines without the cover on too. I mean, this comes off and I don't keep that on, but it does have a bookmark inside, which is to do with the book too. It has the same design on the front, and all of the books have that on too. But yes, they're all limited. Yeah, I'm just collecting them all, or at least the ones I can get. There are some that you cannot get anymore, especially the ones that first came out years ago. It's fine, it's fine. I just love these editions so much. I might have been wrong with some of these editions. Oh, this is summer. Okay, this is a summer edition of Jane Eyre. Sorry, not spring. But yeah, I got more classics there, and I cannot wait to read more classics. I agree. So that was my book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. That was, what, 50 books? I'm sorry I didn't do a challenge this time around, but let me know in the comments again what you would like to see in the next book haul. I am starving now, and I am almost at the end of my iced coffee, so that's not a good thing. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please leave this video a like if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to give a huge thank you again to my patrons for being incredible, wonderful, amazing people, and I love you guys so, so much. And I hope I will see all of you guys, and I hope I will see you all in the next video. Bye!